Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back for more Hearthstone. Last episode we did an arena run, 3 straight losses. The Goblins vs. Gnomes cards are out. We got a pack from the arena run. It gave us at least one nice card that we're going to look at today. But we did not accomplish any of our quests. So we today are going to try in the next 3 games to play 30 minions that cost 2 or less, and to make progress on Paladin, 5 games with Paladin or Priest, 5 games with Druid or Rogue. Notice here that there are quests that require 5 games. It is probably smart that I rejigger the episode links. I'll give it some thought. I was doing a hard 3, but if we have quests that say win 5, then shouldn't it be a hard 5? Because then we'll never have a single episode where we get 5 wins. If only the marathon episodes, the 3rd episodes that's recorded, would we have any possibility of getting 5 wins. So, probably need to rebalance that. Here, with these 2 um, options, I've got to get at least 10 wins on that marathon episode, even to get these 2. So we're gonna have to rejigger that. I'm almost certain. So what I want to do is I want to play as a priest, and so haven't really shown how to do deck building. Here are my custom decks. I'm gonna go to custom priest and select this. So much like the arena run, it shows you the cards that are in there. And now it is only showing me cards in the priest folder and in the neutral folder. So I'm just going to go through these cards and see if I want these cards in my deck. I already have 2 of these in my deck. Let's see. Do I have 2 Holy Smites? If I click this, here's how you switch out your... Yeah, I have 2 golden Holy Smites now. I unlocked that a few episodes ago, so I just clicked out the normal one and put in the golden one. It just keeps everything nice and organized, and then I have the golden version. Right, change a minion's attack to be worth its health. What is my deck at right now? Let me just look. I have deal 2 damage, which maybe I shouldn't have that. Double minion's health. Double minion's health. Deal 5 damage to an enemy hero with Mind Blast. Probably not a good thing. Destroy a minion with 3 or less attack. Draw a card. +1/+1. You know, my controller is not really sensitive enough to do this. You know, I feel like I'm skipping over cards. Taunt. Deal 2 damage to all enemies with the Holy Nova. Restore 2 health to all friendly characters. Whenever this minion takes damage, gain +3 attack. Deal 5 damage, restore 5 damage to your health. Mind control, take over an enemy. Takes 10 minions, 10 mana to do mind control. It's almost never worth it. Give a minion +2 health and draw a card. So we definitely want this in the deck. So let's give it the mind control to start off with, so we can put this in. Give a minion +2 attack this turn. Don't really want that. Lightwell. What I need to do is find that character that... Let's look at the neutral characters. There is a character out there that makes all your healing spells damage spells. I need that character in the deck, particularly if I'm gonna um, get anywhere with the priest card, priest deck. Just look at it. These are the neutral characters. You can use them in any deck. Whenever your opponent casts a spell, gain 1 attack. No, because it's just this guy gains 1 attack, and he could be killed way too fast for that. Whenever you cast a spell, deal 1 damage to all minions. Could probably do that. That's a card to think about, because if you've got all these healing spells and healing creatures out there, what's the big deal of doing 1 damage to your creatures, as long as they have more than 1 health. 4 attack when your opponent has 6 or more cards in their hand. Could not ever foresee that using that card. It's just too hard to control. Alright, so to start off with, Mind Control is way worse than Mind Control Tech. He is a 3/3/3 guy, and he takes control of a random enemy when your opponent has 4 or more. Often your opponent has 4 or more. So, if you have Mind Control in your deck and you have Mind Control Tech, get Mind Control Deck instead. Alright, 50% chance of attacking the wrong enemy. That probably wouldn't be too bad on a deck like this where you've just healing things like crazy. Because if you did, I mean, it's not even going to hit your guys, so that really doesn't even make sense what I just said. But I don't think 50% chance of hitting the wrong enemy is that deadly. Because pretty much if you're going to try and kill this guy, you're going to try and kill this guy too. So what's the big difference if you hit this guy? Maybe this guy's really strong and this guy's really weak, but Battlecry, if you have a mech, yeah, I don't see a mech deck really being a good priest deck. Not yet, at least. Maybe I'll see some new cards that change my mind on that. But at the moment, I don't really buy that. Now, do I have any +1 spell damage creatures in here? If I did, I would try and trade them off for Spellbreaker. Well, maybe this. This one would be a good one to trade it off. It's higher, but you draw a card and get +1 spell damage. But deal 4 damage to random enemy minions on the battle cry for the Bomb Lobber. So we have Mad Bomber, we have Bomb Lobber, and we have Matter Bomber. 3 cards in a series. One does, I think, 2 damage, one does 4 damage, and one does 6 damage, I think. So I have this guy in my deck. Maybe I shouldn't have him in my deck. It might be a little silly. Maybe I should have this guy in my deck. This guy gets +1/+1 for as many creatures, and if you're sitting there healing all your creatures, I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be a little bit smarter to have. I'm going to take this guy out and put this guy in. I can take 2 cards out and put Fugue and Install again. Can I find 2 cards that are not as good as Fugue and Install? Let's see, War of the Pain. Let's take that out twice. Let's put Fugue and Install again. I probably made this deck before next round has even happened, so that's why they're not in. Still have yet to find that creature. It's very possible I just don't have that creature. There are a lot of cards out there that if I had them and they were in my deck, I know I'd be doing a lot better. But just don't have them, don't have enough dust to do it. Last 2 arena runs have not yielded me any dust at all because I've just not won. You've seen what I normally do. 3 losses straight off the bat. And not all of that is me. Most of that is me. But a lot of that's my deck. This one's interesting. It's 8 mana. It does 8 random damage, but it can't actually attack. Then you get in here and destroy all minions and discard your hand and add a dream card. Just like that. It's not showing what it needs to be done. I don't have that card. That's what I thought. Do I have any strategy on this deck at all? Not really. It's so frustrating. It really is. I mean, it really is just frustrating. I don't even think I could win on this deck. And that's me trying to improve this deck. Let's go ahead and play with it once, but I'm thinking we're gonna switch over to Paladin. Not that the Paladin deck is any better. But that's why I lose right there in a nutshell. Just don't have the cards. I could certainly have gone in there and shown you in the crafting mode all the cards that would work with the Paladin. So we could make a fictional dream deck and just talk about the cards we'd want in there, but without the dust to craft those cards, it's kind of pointless.
Anduin versus Gul'dan.
So here's 2 heroes that balance each other out.
Shall bring victory.
This guy's spell does nothing but take life from him. This guy does nothing but give life to yourself and your creatures. This guy's spell is actually more diverse than his is, because I can heal both myself and my creatures if I can get any creatures out on the field.
Job's done.
This is really a custom deck where it just needs to be kitty leagued. I think maybe for an experiment, even though we're just wasting time, and I fully admit that, we'll go play the default deck on Priest after this. We'll just go see. I haven't played that in a long time. We'll go see what that's like. Only way I think I could win with this deck is just get really lucky. There really isn't a great strategy in this game that I know of where you can just pump up your life high enough that it will keep you alive to defeat even a moderately good strategy of your opponents. Because you can't really go over 30 on healing. The only way you go over 30 is have shields. That would be a good card for the priest to have. Is some character says if you heal a character over, if you heal the hero over a certain point, then you will get shields instead. But that just doesn't exist. So I can heal this guy all I want, and it won't do anything. Do I want to do a Mind Blast now, or I want to prove that? Let's see. Just go ahead and heal. So just like that, waste that spell does not do anything. Often, if I just have two mana spell and can't do anything else, I will go over here and heal the enemy when they're at 30, just as a tease. You know, here I'm gonna heal you up to your maximum that you're already at. Might as well, it's the same effect as healing yourself at 30. So we've got Starlag out. I'm just gonna throw him out fast. He's pretty big part. He wasted his owl on this guy. He's gonna regret that as soon as Starlag comes out. Deal 2 damage to all enemies. Deal 2 damage to all enemies. Alright, let's see. I could play that, but let's do this first.
Oh, if you're sure.
So he's probably wondering what I'm doing here. How can he know I have both my Holy Novas in my hand? With that taunt, he'll probably feel good enough that he can just attack the face. I'm hoping he attacks the face. So next turn, I'll attack this guy with Stalag. So that got rid of several of them, but they could still do 8, get me down to 10. But next turn we'll do another Holy Nova. We'll deal 5. The next turn after that, maybe deal 5. The exact next turn. Let's see, I'll have 7, so I could do Holy Nova and Mind Blast. No problem. Double minion's health. I don't have those cards. I don't have a card that makes your health equal to your attack, I believe. Maybe I did and I just didn't put it in the deck. Because that's really where this Divine Spirit synergizes. Is you get 2 of these, you double Thaddeus. Think about Thaddeus. He is at 11-11. Double him to a 22 health. Double him again to a 44 health. Then play that card that makes health the same as attack. I mean, attack is the same as health. And then you've got a 44 super powerful monster ready to attack. Does So he did not see this coming. I'm rather a little surprised. Maybe it seems like he's quit or walked away from this controller. I don't really know what I could have done to really throw him off enough that he would do that. He may just be having internet troubles. I did, by the way, change the time that my internet resets to a more realistic time, which I would not be recording. So, play this to get 5 damage plus 5 damage. Use this to give myself up. I could be close to 30 if I wanted, but let's take the victory just like that. Very, very surprised I won. A lot of that had to be because he just stopped playing. Whatever reason that was. But I wouldn't say that was a rage quit. I wouldn't say anything like that. So, by comparison, let us now go to the priest default deck. So these are the ones you get when you very first start to play. You can't change them. It's just the cards that you start off with. Is this going to match me up with other people playing the default deck? Almost certainly no. I don't think very many people play with the default decks. Just the newest of new people who haven't even figured out how they make their own deck.
The light shall bring victory.
So we got taunt creatures, we got deal 2 damage creatures, and we got Another taunt creature. I guess I want this one, and this one, and not that one. That'll give me a 1, 2, 3 turn. So battle cry, deal 2 damage.
One shot, one kill.
So default deck, a lot of taunt creatures. It's gonna be about stalling. It's gonna be about doing damage to the face. Another taunt creature. It's just like this whole deck is taunt. Maybe that's what I'm doing wrong.
I'll give it a shot.
Maybe I should have more taunt creatures. These are all neutral creatures you can use in any deck. I assume when you first started playing Hearthstone, that when it was very first released, there weren't any expansion creatures, so neutral creatures were what everybody was playing for the most part, except for the hero-specific cards. And I bet a lot of those were added over time. I'm not sure if there was an expansion before Nexramus. That would probably be useful information to have. Did they just start with Nexramus, or was there another expansion in the middle that just added cards? Wouldn't surprise me if there was an expansion where they just added cards, but they would have had to add cards and not add a pack like they have on Goblins vs. Gnomes. To do the Goblins vs. Gnomes, they have now pretty much said they're putting a end cap on
Someone injured?
doing any more regular cards. If they come out with new neutral cards, if they come out with new hero-specific cards, they're not going to come in the regular packs. They're not going to. They're not going to just show up in an expansion where like that. Now, maybe what they'll do if they want to back off a little bit on the Goblins vs. Gnomes, so they don't end up with 5 different packs to buy from the shop really fast, is that they'll come back and put more in the Goblins vs. Gnomes packs. Or they'll change Goblins vs. Gnomes packs into some other name with just expansion version 1 packs. That would make sense too. Let's see.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
Cleanse it. Cleanse it good. This guy's
Time for killing.
should have put the 1/1 on this guy. That would
Right
be
away.
smarter. Whenever a minion is healed, draw a card. So when I do this, it does not activate. They actually have to be below their maximum health and healed. So it's not just the restore 2 health is considered healing. You could, if it's really glad this is electronic, it explains all those questions right at the beginning, because there's 2 ways to interpret everything, particularly if you want a different outcome.
Right away.
So by this being electronic, by the game just downright showing you what you just tried did not work the way you thought it was going to work, there's no argument. If they came out with Hearthstone real cards, the Hearthstone Online thing would be almost the requirement for judges to have that up and be able to set the decks up the way they are on the real world game. That way they can just try things and see what the game says about it, instead of having like a panel of people sit there and try it. determine what would happen. That is kind of the general great thing about a cold-hearted computer being the judge and jury and executioner, is that it will not take human emotion into consideration. It will just follow the strict letter of its program. He's trouncing me pretty well. Let's see. Restore 2 health to my face. Notice it says 2 health. It does not say to any specific minion or hero. So it can be either. That got me 4 health up, but that's not really gonna save me, is it?
I must safeguard the land.
I have nothing coming up on this deck. Just nothing. Nothing at all coming up in this deck is gonna really save me. Look, here's the 7 mana 9/5. You would think that would save me, but it's not because it doesn't have taunt. So they're just gonna ignore it and defeat me. Defeat me on the 9th turn. You've seen 12 of the 18 of the 30 cards in the basic deck. You can always yourself go play the basic deck to see what's more in it. Doesn't feel like there's a real strategy there. It was just a very basic deck. You definitely want to just get off these basic decks. Do like I said, as soon as possible, get off them, go online, search good starter deck for Priest Hearthstone. Some Google search, something like that. You'll find a website that will list out cards you probably have, and they play better than what you have. So we're into our 3rd game, last game for this episode. We only have to play 3 more minions, and we'll get at least 1 quest done. We got 1 victory, which is amazing. I don't even know how we're going to get this done. Do I want to end the episode here, though, is the question. It is a pretty good question. I haven't had a lot of time to think about it, but as I was talking about earlier, so that was my first thought of this. The quests there are quests that have you win 5. I cannot genuinely remember if there are quests that have you win 10 games. Maybe there are, but even at that, that really wouldn't be too bad if we did the first episode 5 games, the first episode 5 games, and then the 3rd episode is a marathon. And I think that's what we're gonna do. We might as well just start doing that now. So, might as well, at least in my mind, starting now, go 2 more games. Next episode will still be a marathon, but it's gonna be a long marathon. I can already tell. We're gonna have a lot to do, so lots of victories need to be done. We haven't even touched one of the quests. We've only made 1 victory on the other quest. Well, it looks like Puddle here is gonna give us another victory, but it's gonna be a painful victory. Keep your eyes up here. See if the mouse highlights cards. See how the mouse highlights cards. If it just pumps one up like that, maybe it is a bot trying to pretend like it's not a bot.
I hope you like my invention.
Job done. There is little time.
They really need to get rid of these bots that take your time. I'm not saying get rid of all bots. I'm just saying get rid of bots that waste your time. Or catch them and make the thing go really fast on them a lot better.
Oh,
Because
if you're sure.
it is not for the other players fun at all to even have to sit through these burning ropes that get faster and faster.
Your opponent is ready.
They may not be bots, they may be legitimate players. I have certainly sat here and just grabbed like a sandwich and said, you know what, I'm gonna eat this sandwich and watch the game count down the timer and hope the other person surrenders. This all revolves around having to get 500 wins for the gold character. They need to fix that. They really, really need to fix it. They need to cut it down to 250. At this point, it doesn't matter if somebody earned 500, they were a super dedicated player.
The light shall bring victory.
So making the new people do that is ridiculous. Make it 250. If I was at 250, I would already be gold with the mage, and I think I deserve that. I don't feel like any of my other characters I've played enough to get the gold, but making people play and win 500 things, people just don't have the time or energy, so they're gonna sit there and hope the other person surrenders, because it really is easier to get to irritate your opponent to surrendering more often than it is to actually beat the opponents, because they're so good when they play. They're so good. They have so much better cards. Maybe they really should do a kitty league. If there was like a kitty league and it was just a situation where players like me, I would go play in the kitty league. I don't even think I'm that bad of a player, but I would go play in the kitty league and I would grind up 500 wins easy. So I guess if maybe that's the reason why they don't do a kitty league, is that you'd have all these medium quality players go in there and they would really be trouncing the kitty league too. But maybe not. Maybe when you have a kitty league and a normal league and an advanced league, all the advanced players will get drawn to the advanced league, and then you can actually start winning on the normal league. And if you're really, really bad, then you get in the kitty. I wouldn't mind if there was like, you had to get 500 losses to get in the kitty league, or 100 losses. That would be fine. If you have to get 100 losses before you can enter the kitty league and play with easier players, that's fine.
Is someone injured?
Push forward.
Job's done.
That would be fun. 100 losses get you to the kitty league. 100 wins get you into the advanced league. If they did that, that would spread the players out. That would make the ability to win a lot easier. It would get rid of a lot of these people that are just not playing or running bots. I'm fine with the bots, which probably aren't actually bots, where they just disconnect on the first turn. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with free victories. Most people are. It's not the... what would be the right word? It's not the most realistic.
Push forward.
Well, I used that incorrectly. I
away.
should have healed this character since I was gonna just kill that one. Didn't think that through. I'm ranting. Sorry. I'm fine with bots giving you free wins. I think you should.
I can wait and fish all day.
They should fix that too.
Pain, speak to me.
50% chance of an extra card at the start of your turn. That could easily deck you, but if you have good cards, you may not care about that. Here we go. Deal 2 damage to all enemies. Heal. Let's see. He's got a lot of cards here that are just centered around.
Right away.
Job's done.
Hoping he hits these guys. Tries to do some damage to one of these guys. Instead of the face, it doesn't really matter that much, but I'd prefer if one of these guys was damaged. But yeah, they need to fix it. I don't... Make the solo player stuff count for people. I can get 500 wins and not play with anybody probably a lot easier. I would certainly not want to do that. There is some fun to playing real people, but they gotta do something. It is.
Must consider.
I'll just leave it at that. They gotta figure out a solution. It's craziness going on. It is just craziness of
Job's done.
people wanting to play this game to get what is nothing but just a ridiculous golden outline of your characters. They want to play for that. They want to play for the gold so they can get in the arena. Putting a price on a golden character would probably eliminate a lot of those people. If you just said you can unlock a specific golden character for $5, a lot of people would do that in a heartbeat and just be like, okay, and then they'd be satisfied. It's just 500's too much. It is too much. And it doesn't mean what it's supposed to mean. We saw that character who was level 20, rank 20, played horribly, somehow had a golden character. I don't have any evidence or idea how he did it. I suspect it was not legitimate how he got it. Or maybe somebody was playing somebody else's login and made a horrible deck or something. Who knows? But if you have even one person, and that was the first person I'd ever seen with a golden hero, the first person I saw with a golden hero, it did not represent what it should have represented. What the golden hero should represent is that you played so much of this game
Drink with me,
that you
friend.
are above expert level. You should be feared just for the battle. I won that game. I should not have won. I should have been terrified. I should have lost. But I didn't, because that player was not as good
Cleanse the sun well.
as what the gold heroes should indicate. Oh, it's just so frustrating. Let me get off this conversation. But it is just really frustrating. I like a lot of this game, and I just some parts I hate with a passion. I mean, it's kind of dumb. I know. But
Push forward.
Job done.
so we have two of the same creatures here. He may try and attack this guy, but that wouldn't really help him. He may try and attack my base, but that won't really help him. That'll help him. That'll help me. So Mad Bomber does 3, the Bomb Lomber does 4, and the Matter Bomber does 6. I wouldn't be surprised if they make a 4th card that just does 5.
I'll put it on your hand.
He's running a strategy here. He's trying to charge this guy up. I mean, you can certainly get a guy pretty high that way. I mean, he got him up to 11, but this guy's up to 8. So what are you gonna do? How are you gonna do 19 more damage next turn? Is the question. So, game over for him, because he didn't know I could do 5 damage on top of the 8 damage he got. He built this creature all up by himself. Wow, 3 victories in a row. We may even get to rank 19. We got the 40 gold, so we have accomplished something. That was the 3rd game or the 4th game? I think that's the 4th. We'll play one more game on Priest. This is going to be an all Priest episode. This will be our 5th run and the final for this episode. Still going to kind of leave you the teaser if I win, because I'll only have 4 wins.
Anduin versus Malfurion.
Do cross.
Protect the
It's
wild.
unique.
The light
I like
shall
it.
bring victory.
It's a little gross, but it's unique, at least. I'll remember that name. I don't think that violates any community standards. But there are other ways you could say that would, but nope.
I hope you like my invention.
Job's done.
Novice engineer. There are elves and beasts and all kinds of things. So they could come out with an elves expansion and just give you more elves that you've already been playing with. They could synergize that way.
Job's done.
I guess there are humans in World of Warcraft too. At some point, because if there isn't, then what creature is inside this suit of armor, if there is any creature inside the suit of armor, and it's not just magical armor moving by itself.
We must
My
cleanse
knowledge
the
of the
Sunwell.
World of Warcraft lore is almost completely 0. I don't know any of it. Let's see. I guess there's skeletons in the game, there's pandas in the game, there's probably all
the
these
great
things we've
outdoors.
seen. But I don't know if I've ever seen a human creature in World of Warcraft, so maybe there isn't one. Maybe that humans aren't one of the options.
Push forward.
Maybe they are, and nobody plays as them. I've had 0 interest in ever playing World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft is a super time-consuming game, and doesn't look really that fun. I did play EverQuest on a Pocket PC back in the day when nobody had Pocket PCs and cell phones were not didn't even exist yet. And so Pocket PCs, for most people, since very few people had them, they were like cell phones, except for they had no GPS really, usually. They had absolutely no cell phone connection, so you could not send phone calls or text messages. They were just little computers. They didn't run normal software. You had to find special software for the operating system. Mine ran Windows CE, some version of Windows CE, which they don't even make that, I don't think, anymore.
Is someone injured? Is someone injured?
Job's done.
Really wanted that guy to stay alive, but they killed him too fast anyways. And so, very few programs for the Pocket PC, but I loved it because before Pocket PCs, there were Palm Pilots that were even less useful. Before Palm Pilots, there were pretty much just calculators, were the only computerized device you could carry around. And calculators aren't that super useful. Deal 5 damage, restore 5 to your hero. Deal 2 damage.
Well played.
Job's done.
I think that's a legitimate well played.
What's happening?
But
Where
yeah,
shall
so
I strike?
when I had a Pocket PC, it was having a computer in front of you and being able to do all the things that we take for granted today, this day and age, is just
The gates are
an
open.
amazing amount of power. People would look at me and just be like, wow, I can't believe you can
Job's done.
do that you can, and I wasn't even doing fancy things. I'm taking notes on a computer I can hold in my pocket, a computer that required an expandable battery pack just to last 8 hours a day, a computer that had almost no memory whatsoever. I don't remember, let's see. I think I had like a 64 megabyte and a 128 megabyte compact flash memory card expansions on it eventually. So it probably only had like 32 megabytes inside the whole thing. So, to get off Pocket PCs, I played EverQuest on Pocket PC because it was mobile. EverQuest is like World of Warcraft, I suppose. It sent me on a bunch of quests to kill like 20 beavers and get their pelts and things like that. I think that's where you start off on World of Warcraft 2, is you have some quests like that. Whenever characters heal, do 1 damage to a random enemy. So, what I want this to do is, let's see, bring this guy out,
The might of storm.
bring this guy out.
Job's done.
Sorry about that.
Does he have enough to defeat me? Probably. What card was that? Savage Roar? +2 to all my characters. Haven't seen Savage War before. We got the new card out. Did not help us one bit. So that's the priest deck. We're almost back up to where we were at the start of recording today, but not quite. So that's it for this episode. We got 3 victories with Paladin or Priest. Next episode, we are going to start off with Paladin and then alternate between Paladin and Priest until we get 5 victories. And then we're going to marathon between Druid and Rogue. I don't think I'm going to rebuild any decks. If that took a lot of time, sorry. Don't think it'll be really interesting for people to watch me rebuild decks until I have a lot more cards. And I've been saying until I have a lot more cards for a long time, because if you don't go into the shop and spend tons of actual real world money, it's slow to get a pack. You've got to do an arena run. You got to lose at least 3 times to get 1 pack. It'd be faster for sure to buy a pack. It's just cheaper to play the arena. And since gold is a limited resource, unless I put real world money in it, I'm gonna go with cheaper. Always. Usually I'm gonna go with cheaper. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. See you tomorrow.